you will see what's called our LA4. This is a certified LA4 by the Department of Revenue. It was submitted in October and it was certified on
Hold on, where's it
November
submitted?
9th.
It's just one page down, Jeff.
I see it,
Yeah,
got it, got it.
next page.
With all the dark lines on it.
Yeah, I got it, yeah.
If you look on that top line where it says 101, 101 is your single family. Your single family, we have a total in the town of North Reading for January 1st of 2011, effective for fiscal 2012, 4,207 single-family homes that carry an assessed value of 1,893,715,800. If you take that 1,893,715,800 divided by the parcel count, you'll come up with 450,100. On the commercial and industrial, it is done different. You're gonna take, if you follow over to where you see class 3 up at the top of this page, and follow that all the way down to the totals line, and you're gonna take your class 4 and you're gonna follow that down to the totals line. Class 3 is your commercial properties. Class 4 is your industrial. The total of those divided by your parcel count of 222 and your industrial being 85, which equals 307, divided by that total number is going to give you the 901. And actually, I did do that.
What's an example of a 300 to 393?
In industrial, well, let's start with commercial. Commercial is a separate, how do I explain this? Your commercial property have a different function. Your commercial property are gonna be your retail, they're gonna be your office space, they're gonna be the restaurant that was in here earlier. Your industrial is usually manufacturing, it's R&D, that's your main sources for the industrial building. The main industrial property that we have in the town of North Reading obviously is up off of Concord Street. Most of our commercial property that we have is Main Street. And, you know, some others scattered throughout town. But that is the definition, if you will, between commercial and industrial. And we could elaborate on it a little bit more, but
Please continue on how you do the assessment for commercial.
how we do the assessment on
How you assess the
commercial?
value. Yeah, because you do assess value on the residential side, but on the
That's
commercial
correct.
side, you do use a whole different process.
It is a different
Yeah,
process.
I'd just like you to explain that.
For commercial and industrial, and this is done equally throughout, what we do is we have to come up with, and this is Department of Revenue regulations, we have to come up with a price per square foot of cost to build. In addition to that, we also have to come up with rental income. One of the sources that we have, and we're very aggressive this past year, was sending out what's called income and expense forms. The income and expense forms are sent to the owners right around February because corporate taxes are due March 15th, and that's a convenient time. Everyone has their stuff out for their accountant. So that's the date we chose. We received that income and expense. None of that is open to the public. It's secure in our office. And then we analyze that. With the income and expense forms, if we just break it down by office space, we're gonna take office space and what the owners are yielding for rents. And then we break it down by size. And then we break it down by location. Because obviously Main Street is gonna yield a higher rent per square foot than, say, you know, something on the lower end of Park Street. So there's a lot of factors that go into that. And our industrial is done the exact same way. With the cost per square foot, that's done, CAMA, we have the state CAMA system. They actually give us a price per square foot. But you know, I like finding out myself and making sure that the price they're giving me annually is in the ballpark. So we do have cost manuals that are available to us as assessors, and we can go in there and find out. One of the big ones I will be looking at is the cat that's being built right now. When he gets that, I will be talking to the super. I will get his cost sheets. I will find out what it costs to build that building, because that is raw data. And that raw data is so important to me to know where we're at on a cost. Does that answer it?
No, it answers it for me.
Okay.
I don't agree with it. And Deb, and I'm putting you on the spot because
Okay.
because this is important to the next question, where we're gonna come down to a vote. It's really unfair that you have the residents follow a process, and you assess them one way, and you do the commercial the other way, but we'll never ever consider doing a split tax rate in this town. So it's kind of we had this issue last year, and I think this is the year we should just have this discussion, and as a board, we should make a decision. Why should it be both ways? Why? And I believe over in Reading, they had the same issue.
Because it's the law.
last year. No, it's not the law. We have the right to choose. Deb has the control with Greg to go ahead, and I believe with the board's approval, to go ahead and assess the commercial property just like we do the residential. And then we don't ever have a need for a split tax rate, because now it's fair and equitable at that point.
Let her answer that question.
Mike, can I answer that? I actually don't have jurisdiction under Mass General Law, Chapter 59, to do it the same way. Under Mass General Laws, Chapter 59, I have to do it the way I'm doing it, or we'll never have any certified tax rate. They won't even let us send out a tax
Well, we
bill.
can change it as a town, right? We have the ability.
You have the ability to choose a split rate, to shift the burden of tax. You do not have the ability, nor do you have the right to change the methodology. I
Gotta go to the legislature.
I don't believe that's true. But I obviously don't have all the data in front of me to argue with you on that point, but that's fine. I don't.
Well,
believe
I don't really want to argue, because I don't want to run out of voice.
I'm not looking to argue. I mean, I was trying to reach the people over in
Right.
Reading today, because I believe they did something very similar.
Let me ask you a question. What is your, just to understand, you know, I've been doing this for a long time, so, you know, it just becomes second nature to me. But let me understand where you're coming from. What would your theory be in how I should value, because it's not tax, it's value the commercial and industrial properties?
Okay. The commercial companies be able, or the business owners, or the ones that own those commercial properties, get to submit to you this, what you call rent,
Income and expense.
income and expense.
Mhm.
That goes up and that goes down based on
That's correct.
their tenants, right?
That's
We
correct.
as residents we don't get that ability. We don't get that choice. You heard Mr. Messeri's response to your $450,000 and $100 average. He's surprised in that, because common sense and what you read and what you see in the community is showing you that you would
Fox
think we
News.
would have heard from you today that it actually went down or stayed the same. But instead, no. Now, on their side, they get a shot at least submitting to you to get a fair shot at getting it to what they can afford. We don't get that on the residential side. And at the same time, they get the benefit of having the same exact tax rate as I do. I have a problem with that.
Maybe I can shed a little light on it in a different angle. The public, or the buyers, have the option of changing that market. In an economy that we're in right now, if the town of North Reading was not a desirable community to live in, wouldn't those sale prices have decreased? They didn't.
On the residential side or the commercial
On
side?
the residential side, we've already established
I
commercial
don't
and
disagree with
industrial.
you. I'm fine with that.
But they're still buying at 95% of my assessed value. That tells me that we're very
It's the
stable.
commercial side. they're still buying you just said they even had an increase. They're still buying, but they're not getting taxed the same way. They're not, because they get a chance to come in and show you their income and expense.
Right.
You could reduce. You could reduce because they don't have the income and expense. So if I lose my job, and now I live in one of those $450,000 homes, and I lose my job, or I'm unemployed, or whatever the situation may be, I don't have a shot to come back to you and say, my income and expense now has changed, you have to reduce my taxes. But on the commercial side, they have that ability.
It's a business. A business has to operate. So that business has to have the option of running their business. If,
Then why-
and
I
we're
think-
gonna end up going off track on what we need to do. At the end of the day, single family, your valuations are done and are distributed in the way that the Mass General Law dictates to all assessors in the process and the procedure. Your residential property is all based on a price per square foot. If you were to build a home today, and I know there's 2 contractors sitting in the audience right now,
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess, and actually I'm probably not guessing that much, $106 a square foot. How far off am I? So,
But Deb, it's at the end of the day, rather than get into the debate about it, they're still paying, they have the ability to pay less taxes each year, where a resident doesn't.
I understand what you're saying.
And they get the benefit of a residential rate. So they get both, and they get to pay, and we had this discussion last year, the way, when we talk about how they pay those taxes, right? They get 100% write-off. Here, in residents, unless you're in that, 35% tax bracket and you do AMT, you may get some of the write-off, but retirees get zero write-off.
Oh, that's a whole
But it's all
other
part of this
element
whole-
when you're
Deb,
talking
we're here-
about the
we're here
element.
about setting a
When you're
tax rate for
talking
the
about the
community.
elderly, I'm right there. I get that.
Well, we're
But
supposed to set a
I
tax
don't
rate.
have,
And that's why if we can't change the way we evaluate, assess these properties in the commercial side, then we have to have a serious discussion about then creating a second tier, which is a split tax rate. Because of all the now everybody's hurting. I'm a business owner, I own 3 businesses, and they're all small, and every one of them are hurting.
I'm a business owner.
But at the same time, I'm still here, and I have 87% of the people that pay taxes, pay property taxes in this town are residents. And they get no relief on a consistent basis.
Well, let me
They
ask,
still have to pay those taxes with pre-tax, with post-tax dollars.
I just want to back up 1 second. Was speaking of the elderly, there are some programs in place that they may or may not be eligible for, and there's many exemptions. All of that information is available in my office. Both my girls, Debbie Pothier and Lisa Downing, have full knowledge of how those
Can't believe
work
a
if
retiree's
they
gonna be
qualify.
funded this deduction.
There's also the senior work-off program. There is also a Clause 18. There is also a deferral program, and the deferral program goes into where if an elderly is very distressed, they can actually defer their taxes. And then when they do sell it or whatever they're gonna do, then there is an interest on that, of course, that has to be paid at the time of them selling it. So there are a couple of things in place. My heart goes out to the elderly. They can go to the grocery store and my heart's for them. But when it comes down to assessing property, I have to do it according to what the Mass General Law tells me to do.
You're right, you do.
Yeah,
And this board has to make a decision if you even care about those people. And part of this whole thing, again, back to a split tax rate,
Well,
making a shift.
we'll have that discussion shortly. Do we have any more questions for Debbie? Because she's obviously following the law, and she can't charge you. She's done an excellent job of
She has.
presenting the information and the options that we have.
Yep.
The
She
burden
always does,
falls
so-
on us.
Thank you.